could make. Maybe future reference, maybe other guilds looking at facing kind of this comp, or just the viewers that are interested on how they could possibly change the outcome of this fight. First thing I would look at, aside from a 1200 range JI that you could add to the melee, just add a couple more elementalists. If you get some elementalists with some better CC, maybe get some statics out there. They have multiple CC at 1200 range that they can use to disrupt the BGA casters, who really have next to no stability. And if you add that, you get more than just one disrupt. You get a couple, along with the range pressure that you can put out from range. The other thing I would be doing, if those rangers are really causing too much of a trouble, I would consider, I might not do it, but I might try it, going aura share on the elementalists if I added a couple in. And the reason behind that, if you add aura share, you can get magnetic aura up, and you can have some pretty good uptime from the reflex, along with the walls of reflect that they're putting out with the melee, and really to help kind of mitigate the effectiveness of the ranger from BGA. And the third thing that I would look at the amount of damage that my melee train right now is able to do. As far as warriors and the guardians go right now, there's not much chance for them to put any damage out. I mean, if you're a hammer warrior, you can get some stuns off, and that's great. But a lot of the time, if you get a hammer stun, there's going to be other BGA around that are just going to collapse on you and really punish you for doing it. So what I would look at, and maybe I'm notorious for it, or probably not actually, but I would definitely add rifle to my warriors to kind of get better range pressure, better pew pew off front against BGA, because they are spread out all along the south side, and there's no way they're all going to be able to hide around a wall of reflect. And it seems like from the amount of damage, they're very glassy. And this round is actually finally starting. So it's the last round in the in a 7 series, in favor currently 6-0 in favor of BGA. And we do have a Veil coming out from DUI now. But they're not going to use it. They're just going to bounce through it and kind of bounce back as there's tons of range pressure, and then a good wall of reflect that's kind of bouncing some of that back towards BGA. Still not any type of a clash right here, and we do have, it looks like, is that a guardian, or is that an ice boat animation that's going off in the middle? Might be the conjured bow, it looked like for a second. And we do have a DUI necromancer who just gets caught out, and that's going to be an early disadvantage for DUI. BGA still, I'm getting attacked by the DUI ranger, so that's a missed opportunity as well. DUI committing down on the south side now with BGA just counter bombing, kind of spreading out, and then kind of enveloping the DUI melee train and trying to harass them and keep the constant pressure as much as possible. But looks like they were able to get out of there with a pretty much clean sweep, except for a thief that's down up on the north side who is in a shadow refuge, so he might get hard res, though I don't see any allies going over to him. But I don't see him down, so he must have gotten up. And now we are back down on the south side with a big clash going off, and a big bomb, and a banner that goes off, but it does not hit because the DUI driver was poisoned. So that driver is out, as well as a couple of other melee for DUI. So this round definitely in favor now of BGA after that big clash. A lot of bombs going off from both sides, as one of the as several, I think about 5 people from DUI go down right now.
That's what they called it.
That's going to be the end of that round, and that's going to be also the end of this series, 7-0 in favor of the caster comp from BGA. And sorry for that, in between the rounds it was a little bit long-winded. But the rest of you guys up here on the panel, you guys
really good, bud. We appreciate it. We know you're suffering on the red, but alright. You did good, Dragon.
I would never be able to do it.
Yeah,
with
dude.
on red.
So coming up, don't go anywhere. Coming up, we got him and TFH.
Alright, and we're back here with Bad Guy Roberts, the leader of BGA. BGA taking tonight's GvG with a 7-0. Congratulations. We have a few questions for you from the booth. I'm going to start with Whitehelm.
You had a really interesting comp tonight. Some would call it kind of cancerous, with definitely very heavy pirate ship with, I think, at least 10 casters plus Venom share. What was your kind of reasoning behind running that comp?
Well, we actually had two reasons for running it. One, we kind of ran into it last night, and didn't go so well for us. We'd never actually run this comp before. And the other is, we scrimmed DUI a lot with the comp you guys saw last night, which is more heavy melee. So we kind of knew they were going to prepare for that. So we figured, okay, let's try this out and see if we can catch them off guard. And I think that's kind of what happened tonight.
So a lot of people from what we've seen in the chat, very upset about the Venoms, and I'm sure you know it's a controversial move, but it ended up earning the win. I mean, some people will say that Venoms are a cheap way to win. Well, how do you feel about the use of them?
I mean, we've run into Venom shares before. It's just a matter of you just got to deal with it as part of the meta at the moment. I don't like using them, but that's just how the game's being played right now.
The thing with the Venoms is you really yes, it's a strategy, it's an effective strategy, it produces downs, it works well, but so do a lot of things in the game. And just like that, just like everything else is a counter for, the Venom share. And what it is you got to have your warriors not using Horn 4 just randomly and out of nowhere. It has to be concise, it has to be when there's a mobilized down, it has to be, and same thing with the blast as well. And if you can get that and do that, then you can pretty much rule Venom's useless, and then at that point your opponent's attack becomes a huge cooldown that you got to wait on, and you can go offensive from that point. In my opinion, the group that's more cohesive, the group that is just the better group is going to win regardless of the Venoms. And if people disagree with that, they can, but it's all about just countering what is given in the meta right now, and if that's what it is, there's a counter for it. You just have to figure out what it is and get your warriors and your your purging conditions down in good faith, and then you should be pretty successful.
I'm gonna agree with Kyle on that one too. People say there's no counter to Venoms, but there shouldn't necessarily be a counter to them. What Venoms do is they punish your guild for having bad micro. And I guess macro at that occasion, because, if your guild doesn't work together in order to remove their conditions, then they're going to be punished really heavily for it. Granted, they're strong. They're really fucking strong. Because it's literally like you're just taking one person and you're pretty much taking, a Venom Thief can't pretty much do anything besides for spread their Venoms and, short bow 4 downs, right? Well, when they apply these Venoms, okay, so you're taking that Thief pretty much out of your gank comp, and instead you're using that, granted it's really strong, to punish the enemy.
Absolutely.
if they don't cleanse their conditions properly. If you have your big waters placed properly, if you have a Purging Flames rotation, and you make sure that you have a Purging Flames whenever your enemy has their well bomb up, and if your warriors are using their Warhorn 4 not all willy-nilly, if they're actually paying attention to the way they play, then to be honest, you're at an advantage over the enemy guild, because they only have 2 gankers as opposed to 3 if they take that Thief and put
exactly.
it on Venoms.
And even if at that point you're even with gank, then you're one up somewhere else. You have another Necro, or you have another another Ellie, and you can do damage there. It does that the Venom, if you can counter the Venom or at least control the Venom, sustain the Venom, then you're fighting 15 versus 14 or whatever, however many numbers you're going.
Alright, so to try to kind of get away from all the talk about Venoms, because this is supposed to be an interview, one thing that we actually noticed you running yesterday as well as today is your Scepter Focus Signet Ellie.
Yeah, that's Reese.
Can you kind of explain your reasoning behind running that?
I don't want to give too much of his build away, but he's very heavy counter gank.
I like it. Something new and interesting.
And I will point out something that was a misconception. He's not running Fresh Air. I noticed some people were saying, oh, he's running Fresh Air. He hasn't run Fresh Air, I don't think, ever, to be honest. He's got his own special build that he runs, and it's very, very tanky.
Obviously, you don't want to give that away. So my question is, you guys suffered 2 losses in the past week, and now you're coming back with this very strong victory, you know, keeping yourself in the point standings. And how do you plan to go moving forward? Do we think we'll see this strategy again from you? I mean, again, don't give away too much, but
I'm not 100% certain on that, honestly. I mean, with regards to whether we're going to use this strategy again or not, I mean, we might, I don't know. We like to play the game more for fun, and it just depends on what we're in the mood for, to be honest. We just wanted to try this tonight because we had it used against us yesterday to great effect. So we kind of wanted to see, it was one of those situations where it's like, okay, let's play it, and maybe we'll learn how to counter it a bit better.
Alrighty, so I think we have to get started with the next GvG. Thank you, Bad Guy Roberts, for coming in. Congratulations on your win. Good luck with the rest of the tournament.
Thank you.
Good luck with your match that's next.
I think it's actually him versus GvG next. Oh, are they starting? No, they're not starting. It's just warming up. Alrighty, I'm gonna hand it back to Drigan here. Yeah, we saw BGA. They did what they have to do. Play to win the game, and they ended up winning tonight. DUI gonna lick their wounds, and they'll come back in, I believe, on this weekend for the next GvG. Tonight, now we're gonna kick it back over to Drigan for him versus TFH.
Alright, thanks, Georgie. And if you're just joining us, it looks like we have about 50 more viewers than we did about 45 minutes ago, or half an hour or so. So I am Drigan. I was the leader of Hope, and I'll be shoutcasting tonight's 15 versus 15 against him and TFH. And it looks like we still have a little bit of time to kill before both sides are quite ready to start the first round, but it should be an exciting matchup. Hey, Whitehelm, you want to talk a little bit about him's composition that they ran yesterday?
They were running a very low melee comp. I think they were running 5 or 6 melee at most, and a lot of casters. I think mostly Necros and 3 Ellies. I think they're still running double Ranger, Serene, and Grim. Actually, not saying Serene. Oh, actually, they have Serene switched to DD Ellie. Yeah, so it looks like they're only going for the 1 Ranger today instead of the 2 that they were running yesterday. But yeah, we actually have Serene on Dagger Ellie, which will be an interesting inclusion.
And if you are on FA, if you are on the FA server, please make room for your server mates as they try to get in through the queue that's currently in the Obsidian Sanctum. That is the only delay right now for our first match getting underway. So if you're in queue or in the OS right now, please hop out of that and just stick to this, or encourage your buddies, maybe your guildmates, other people on your server to do the same, and watch here at twitch.com/Guild Wars 2 GvG.
Alright, so we're the favorite tonight. This GvG.
No, after seeing last night, him obviously came out really strong against who we thought was a pretty similar competition with BMO, and they really lit BMO up with their